whenever I turn on the TV these days, I see one pundit or another telling me that both sides are responsible for the vitriol in this country and the violence that it has given rise to. That sounds so even-handed and objective, but it isn't. It's nonsense. Democrats and Republicans are not equally guilty for creating the climate that created the shooting in Arizona over the weekend. The Democrats got shot. They didn't do the shooting. I think there's a fairly large distinction. Some are now wondering whether the shooting was even political. Look, Jared Loughner is a grade A psycho, but just because he's psychotic doesn't mean it wasn't political. You know what he called it in his notes? An assassination. He shot a politician in the head. It was political. Was Loughner directly driven to this by conservative commentators? Well, look, that's very hard to tell because it's hard to know what goes on inside that crazy mind. And I do know a nut shot Ronald Reagan in the 1980s. But I also know that some conservative leaders have created an atmosphere that festers violence today. Let's look at quotes from our time from right-wing ideologues and politicians. There are dozens of examples, but I'll give you three to keep it quick. Here's Rush Limbaugh, quote, "I tell people, don't kill all the liberals, leave enough so we can have two on every campus, living fossils, so we will never forget what these people stood for." This was what Sharon Angle said while running against the then Senate Majority Leader last fall. Quote, "If this Congress keeps going the way it is, people are really looking forward to those Second Amendment remedies and saying, my goodness, what can we do to turn this country around? I'll tell you, the first thing we need to do is to take Harry Reid out." And then here's Michelle Bachmann, the congressional darling of the far right. Quote, "I want people in Minnesota armed and dangerous on this issue of the energy tax because we need to fight back. Thomas Jefferson told us having a revolution every now and then is a good thing. And the people, we the people, are going to have to fight back hard if we're not going to lose our country." Look, it's one thing to say that the other side is ruining our government or even our way of life. Both sides do that all the time. And Obama did once say at a political rally to not bring a knife to a gunfight. So sure, both sides talk. I often talk about political warfare myself. But it's another thing to say, pick up your guns and do something about it. Liberals almost never say that. Conservatives say it all the time. Then pretend to be surprised when people actually do it. Since 2008, there have also been dozens of examples of right-wingers shooting and killing liberals, Democrats, and government officials, like domestic terrorist Scott Roeder, who shot and killed Dr. George Tiller. How many times did Bill O'Reilly call Dr. Tiller a baby killer on air? Again, for the sake of conserving time, I'll only give you two other examples. Byron Williams, after hearing Glenn Beck talk about the Tides Foundation and the ACLU, loaded up his car with a handgun and a long gun and set out to kill the people Beck told him were ruining the country. He got in a shootout with cops that resulted in 60 rounds being fired. But luckily, thanks to the good work of the police, never made it to the Tides Foundation, where he had planned to commit his massacre. Then there was this Jim Atkinson in Tennessee, who wanted to shoot all the liberals, but decided to shoot just the ones in a local church he considered to be too liberal. His reading list included the books of Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly. Taken individually, you can make a case that any of these guys are just mentally disturbed. Taken together, the pattern is obvious. Look, there will always be psychos among us, but conservative leaders are now ginning up their fear, anger, and paranoia and directing them toward their target, Democrats. These people have become hate-seeking missiles. They're looking for something and somebody to hate, and I think conservative talk show hosts give it to them. Finally, let me leave you with an apt quote from someone in Arizona who noticed the problem before the shootings even happened. She said about Sarah Palin's now infamous crosshairs map, quote, "The way that she has it depicted has the crosshairs of a gun sight over our district. When people do that, they have got to realize there are consequences to that." The person who said that was Gabrielle Giffords.